All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Badash. Double honor to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akim her pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon your houses. This is Brother Quanah Watt from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp, coming back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Lord will, it is quick, Lord will, it is straight to the point and edifying. But I'm just going to hit it. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, And this is exactly what, has been taking place, right? Just, First example coming to mind, right, is what the situation between Russia, and Ukraine, right? Russia has been, ultimately calling up their reservists. They gathered up the army, right? And they ultimately, they've been basically at war, with Ukraine, right, for the past year and some change, right? And within that time, you've also seen China, call up their reservists, start to gather up their army, right? They're just like Russia. They're building, nuclear missiles, right? China's got that nuclear ICBM nuclear orbital cruise missile, building that, building all different types of ICBM nuclear missiles. North Korea just tested their record-breaking, launch, ICBM nuclear missile launch, either just before or just after threatening America. So you're having all these nations, ultimately preparing for war, right? Ecclesiastes, matter of fact, let's grab that real quick. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and start of verse 1, and we'll drop down. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, right? Dropping down verse 8, Salakia. Verse 8, it says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we are in the time of war, man, right? We're in the time, right, as Habakkuk 2 and 3, has stated, right, the end, matter of fact, let's go to that real quick, so I can just draw on a blank. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3, it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, right? That vision being the prophecy, right, of World War III, in this particular lesson, right? This prophecy, right, can go for any of the last three prophecies that are to come, right? Jacob's trouble, World War III in this case, and then Yahweh Shai is coming. You know what I mean? But in this case, we're, applying it to, World War III, right? Because this is, there's a lot of, events that are taking place, right, when dealing with the subject, right? Again, you have Ukraine that ultimately just officially joined NATO, right? For those that don't know, NATO has something called the Article 5, right? Which any NATO member that is attacked, right? That nation that attacked them is now subject, to, basically a retaliation from the rest of the NATO members, right? The nations that make up NATO, right? When you go and you look it up, Article 5 basically states if a NATO member is attacked, the other nations, right, have to basically act like they've been attacked, right, and ultimately go to war, right? So this is ultimately just another step, right, towards World War III, right? It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That's right, right? And again, World War III is being prepared, and really, every nation is prepared except for America, man. America's ultimately wearing itself too thin. America hasn't been focusing on any of its, military might, military power, and these nations ultimately seeing that, hey, they're starting to creep up on America, man. It goes, bring right to this article. This is on Newsbreak app. It says, forget the threats overseas. America's at risk in its own backyard, right? Because America just recently, which I know Creepy Joe, right? He just ultimately approved another 3,000, U.S. Reservists, right? To ultimately, go overseas, man, right? And go to the, as they're calling it, right? The eastern flank, right? Which we understand that that's talking about, Ukraine, right? Ukraine just got approval, right, to join NATO, right? So, it's fitting that America would ultimately send, military members over there, as a show of force, as a show of power, but ultimately that's just going to cause more of a problem, man, But again, America's not paying attention, right, to what's going on, domestically, right, or within its hemisphere of the globe, right? It says the Washington establishment security apparatus spends extraordinary effort on the endless array of overseas military operations, right? Again, sending the packages to Ukraine, right? The military aid, sending the soldiers, right? Which, again, Sleepy Joe had just mentioned, right? And approved 3,000 soldiers being sent over there. It hasn't happened yet, right? But you know that they will, right? It says, but it neglected America's own backyard. Left unattended, the backyard has become increasingly occupied by hostile squatters as China, Russia, and Iran descend upon Latin America and the Caribbean to spread their autocratic ideologies, right? Which that ultimately goes into, spreading their communism, or one country government, right? All that power is given to one person, right? Whereas here in America, you have what they call a democracy, right? Where ultimately you have, a government that has split powers, right? In America, there's three separate branches, right? The judicial, executive, legislative, so on and so forth, right? On not one person, right, ultimately has the power, which we understand that that's just bullshit, right? All these countries, even when they say, Congress passed this, that, and the third, right? We understand that the orders are coming from even higher than them, right? Going back to the elites, right? They're in control of all these nations, right? And ultimately what's going on, what's happening, Let's continue on. It says the Monroe Doctrine, which declared the Western Hemisphere off limits to foreign meddling, is nearly dead months after its 200th anniversary. And this could have perilous consequences for the U.S., right, man? America is going to have, a war on its soil, man. America will be touched. America is not going to be that virgin daughter of Babylon, man. The Lord's going to have this cherry pop, man, by way of, ICBM nuclear missiles and a possible invasion, prior to that, man. We see, ultimately America being invaded, right, on large scale numbers, right, when those, Title 42 ended, which they're still coming across, right? A lot of them are so-called immigrants, right? You got the northern tribes coming across the border, but recently you've been having a shit ton of fucking Moabites coming over, man. And when they take video of them and everything like that, right, they're all, basically, of military age, right, fighting age, they don't look frail, right, they don't look broken, they don't look, desperate, right, they looked well taken care of, man, like they haven't been there very long, they were just waiting to cross over, man, like they knew when the Title 42 was going to end, So again, America, to some degree right now is being invaded, but who's to say there won't be an invasion, right, likened unto the scale of, Russia, man. We don't know yet, man, right? We just understand that Babylon, right, is going to have its cherry pops here soon, man, right? It says, established by President James Monroe in December 1823, the doctrine declared that the United States would not tolerate further colonization or puppet monarchs within its sphere of influence. Right? It says, most crucially, the doctrine states that any attempt by European powers to exert control in America's backyard would have been viewed as a hostile act against the United States, right? Right, and now these nations are seeing, right, that America's decline, right? America's power is waning, right? That brings me to Jeremiah chapter 51. My brain's moving a little slow today, man. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, right, man? America has been this long-standing, power in the earth, right? Hell, America's, a nation that's been in war, right? Majority of its tenure in power, man, something like almost 300 years America's been here, but like 250 of them, right, 250 years America's been at war, man. So America has, America's been on this, really Esau, right? Esau's been on this conquest to basically conquer everything, man, and he has, right? Going back to what is it, Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, right? He keepeth not at home, man. You know, that's his blessing, man, right? To go and ultimately, rule the whole world, right? As we see right now, that where the wicked are in control, right? Job 9-24. Esau, Edom, right? The wicked is in full control of the world right now, in full control of the earth, And for a very long period of time, which, to a certain degree, America still is that power, right? Still is that golden cup, right? But again, America's power is waning, right? America's influence is waning over the nations, right? Since Babylon's been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, the nations have drunk over wine, therefore the nations are mad, right? So they ultimately, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem El Shad, the Lord's revealing who this damn devil is, right? His agenda, right? His filth, his stink, right? Luke 8-17, Luke 12-2, the Lord is revealing who this damn devil is, man. And these nations are ultimately seeing that, right? Because, the scriptures say that this word has gone out to the four corners of the earth, man, right? And that this word has gone into the gates of the noble, right? So, all these nations, right, are listening to this truth going out, man. Right? All the nations are taking heed to this word, man, to a certain degree, man, And again, these nations are starting to see Esau, Edom, shame, man, and now they'll be like, nah, man, you're a liar, you're a thief, you ain't shit, and so on and so forth. And this is why these nations are ultimately coming up against Babylon and coming up against America, because America has done nothing but shady shit since it's been in rulership, man, So again, these nations are, pissed off, man, right? Because at one point they were along with the show, man, right? They were in the show playing, their part, this and the third. Now they're realizing, hey, this show's jacked up, right? And that this show is coming to an end, So now they're, as the scriptures say, right, they're setting themselves in array against Babylon, man, right? Getting prepared. That's why you see these nations creeping up closer to America, man, Scriptures talk about how that, America's going to be destroyed within 1 hour, Hey, America, within that hour, from the minute one to the last minute, right? And America's going to be constantly, rained upon by ICBM nuclear missiles from these nations, man, right? Verse 8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, is even lifted up to the skies. So I can end is lifted up even to the skies. Right, man. So again, America's done. America is done. These nations see the wickedness and evil of America, right? Esau, Edom, right? And they're done with them, man. America is about to be completely destroyed, man. In an instant. Matter of fact, let's go to this. I don't want to make this too long, man. We just see, again, America, these nations creeping up on America, man, getting ready, setting themselves in position, right, to ultimately destroy this bitch, man. Jeremiah 15:9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be of a mighty experiment, none shall return. So again, these nations, right, beginning with Russia, which is that north country, right, is ultimately setting themselves up in position to destroy this place. This is why, North Korea is doing their, ICBM nuclear missile testing. They're breaking records, man, and who are they threatening? They're threatening America, right? Because that's the person, that's the people, right, in the place that they want to destroy, man, There's no coincidence there, man, right? The Lord's had this place, as the scriptures say, the eyes of the Lord upon, that sinful kingdom, right? The Lord has set this place up, right? And basically ruling in nothing but wickedness and evil, right? Hey, well, these, Esau, Edom truly doesn't believe that there's going to be a consequence. Well, there is a consequence, man. To every action, there's a reaction, man. As they say in the world, man. And this is going to be the reaction, right, to Esau's, left-hand side actions, man. These places are getting pissed off at America, and soon they're going to press the button, man. And then again, those arrows are going into those ICBM nuclear missiles, which are going to touch down, right? So scriptures talk about 200,000, right, which is going into 200,000, or really 200 million. So like 200 million, right, ICBM nuclear warheads, man, right? They're going to touch here America, man. You know, it says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord, because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O destroyers of mine heritage, right, which is going into the Israelites, right? We understand Zechariah 1:15, right, which states that they ultimately, they forwarded the affliction, man, right, that the Lord was pissed with us, right, so they put us in captivity, right, but they did more than they were supposed to, right? Esau did more than he was supposed to, man, right? So again, therefore, right, as it says in Obadiah, right, because of thy violence against thy brother Jacob, right, the Lord is gonna, shame shall cover him, man, It says, Akira says, because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage, because ye are grown as fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as the bulls, your mother shall be sore confounded, right? She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert, right? So, man, this is talking about America, right? That mother's going into the UK, right? Back in the, 1700s, America, ultimately separated, right? From the UK, from Britain, right? And ultimately was born, so that's who it's going into, right? But America ultimately as a whole is going to be destroyed, man, It says, verse 13, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. They're gonna be see what happened to America, man. They go, damn, right? And we understand that plague is going into that ICBM nuclear missiles. They're gonna touch down here in America, man. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12, man. Where people's tongues are going to consume in their mouths, man, and their eyes are going to consume in their sockets, right? Their flesh is going to just devour off of their skins, man, or it's like their flesh is going to devour off of their bones, man. It's going to be a a very great judgment that's going to hit this place, man. Verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord, right? And again, this is what's going to happen to America here soon, man. Come on, man. So I just wanted to, ultimately bring that out, man. Lord will is edifying. Lord will is straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops of the Millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.